I've heard a lot of people describe how easy it feels for them to get stuck in negative thinking. It makes sense and it seems to check out with most people that it tends to be a lot harder to focus on positive types of thinking. And as it turns out, there happens to be a pretty good reason for that. As we sort of learn how to think about the world, and as we as a people have learned how to use our minds for different things, it's kind of made sense that focusing on negative things, in other words, focusing on potential threats, actually is pretty important. So if we're, in a survival kind of situation, for instance, it really matters a lot more if we overlook some threat, right, than it does if we overlook some opportunity. If we're, scrounging for food in the wilderness and we miss some pretty delicious berries, we just don't see them, or we overlook them in some other way. That's unfortunate, but we'll be okay. If, on the other hand, we're foraging through the woods and we overlook or ignore or don't pay attention to or don't notice some carnivorous animal, some giant bear perhaps, that will matter a lot more to us. So our brains are kind of designed, they're kind of hardwired to pick up on negative things first and kind of highlight them for us as though to say, hey, look, pay attention to this because it could hurt you. And that happens as we look around and listen to the world, but it also happens in our thoughts too. Our more negative types of thoughts tend to stand out a little bit more. And on the one hand, that's kind of, unfortunate, but on the other hand, we need it. So we should be grateful for that. We also know that that's the case, and we can help our brains kind of balance themselves out. And so what I'd like to encourage you to try is to use a kind of balancing technique. To go throughout your day and try to help your brain highlight more of the positive events in your life, interactions with other people, even help your brain highlight positive ways of thinking, positive habits of mind. And one pretty simple way to do that, if you can remember to kind of plug it into your day a handful of times, or even just once, is to remember the acronym HEAL, H-E-A-L. And this acronym can be used as a way of helping your brain highlight those positive experiences that happen around you, and also experiences that happen within you in your thoughts or in your emotional life. So the H in HEAL is to have a positive experience, and doesn't matter what it is really. I would advise trying to move toward ones that are productive and wholesome and skillful and that are good for you in the long run, for instance. But having a positive experience can look a lot of different ways. So that's the first step, is just to have one. Another way to think about that is to simply notice that you're having one. The E in HEAL is to enhance it. Now, if you were to imagine that having a positive experience is like the spark that can start a campfire, having it is just there, having the heat, making the spark in some way, getting the thing going. Enhancing it, or another way to think about it is enriching it, is to protect it, right? To protect that campfire. Keep the wind from blowing it out, keep the rain off of it, keep any other things from smoldering it. You're kind of nurturing this kindling, nurturing this young flame of a campfire. And if you think about positive experiences in that way, as though a spark can be extinguished really easily, and so can our positive experiences. We can overlook them and ignore them and forget about them really quickly. But if we kind of cradle them a little bit, spend some time taking care of them as they happen to us, and what that means is focus on them, spend a few moments focusing on them, then they can kind of gain some traction, and they can be stickier in a way, which means that they kind of stay with you. The A in HEAL is to absorb it. So we've had this positive experience. We've ignited the campfire. We've enriched it or enhanced it by nurturing it and not letting it go out, not ignoring it, not moving away from it too quickly. And the absorption that can happen is something where as the fire gets going, as it gets roaring a little bit, as you feel it more fully in yourself, this positive experience that you've had, and you've kind of lingered in it, and you've given it some of your attention, you've nurtured it, try to bask in it for a little while. Even if it's just 10 seconds, just give yourself the permission to feel fulfilled by it, to feel it fill you up in a way, to try to develop a deep sense of appreciation for it and of gratitude for that moment of positive thinking or feeling or positive event that's happened to you. And just bask in it, kind of bathe in it, let it warm you, let it absorb its heat and its light that this campfire is now giving you, and appreciate it. And the last letter of heal, the L, after we've started the spark, we've had a positive experience, we've protected that into a kindling flame, we've not moved away from that positive event too quickly, we've not forgotten about it, and we've absorbed it or basked in it for a little while, even for just 10 or 15 seconds, begun to appreciate its warmth and light, then try to place that positive experience in the storyline of who you are. Connect it or link it to who you have been, what you've gone through, what's happened to you in the past, and also link it to who you want to be, what you want your life to look like, and what you hope for yourself in the future. So with these ways of remembering how to treat positive experiences as they arise, you have a positive experience, you enrich it or you enhance it, you absorb it as it gets going and you stay with it, and then link it to who you have been, what your life has been like, and also link it to what you hope to be, what you hope your life will look like in the future. So try doing this. It doesn't take too long. It took me a minute to explain it, but as you practice it, it kind of becomes automatic, and you can just spend 20 seconds or even less as it gets going, as you grease the wheels of this little technique. You can really just plug it into your day in this short span of time. But of course, spending more time with it would be great. And implementing it into your day occasionally will help balance the brain's negativity bias, to help you not only have more, but allow those positive experiences to be more part of who you are and more part of your chosen life.